fifth dimension. Aquarius I am. We in the Aquarius age for the next 2,000 years, you dig?
Swing low, time to move on. Light years in time, ahead of our time.
I want to free your mind by helping you understand the zodiac signs. That's right, you're live with Aquaman in the zodiac zone where the cosmos is your home. I'm your very own Anpu, the real urban guru, coming through on the mothership. So let's open up your cosmic memory bank and swing down to earth with a shit stain. Hey, peace. Welcome to Hip Hop Astrology TV. I am your host, Anpu, the real urban guru, man. Like I told you, man. One of your favorite R&B singers called me Astro Daddy. I think I'm about to start going by Astro Daddy now. But what's happening, man? Listen, today's episode is going to be another phenomenal episode. Shout out to the dark-skinned Drake right here on YouTube who asked me that we do something on Prodigy from Mobb Deep, man. So I really appreciate the comment. I really appreciate the suggestion. I really appreciate the support, man. Shout out to Carlette Mayat, man. I'm back. Share with your friends, man. You know, we got to get the numbers up. One of the viewers says, man, you know, we got to share, man. Click the like button for sure. And I really appreciate everybody's support. Listen up, man. You want to get over to theimaginationguru.com because I'm going to give y'all a 2-day opportunity to make this thing happen. I'm giving you a flash sale that's available right now today for this webinar, Programming Your Inner Space, Keys to Self-Realization. And then you will also have the opportunity tomorrow to get in Friday. All right. After Friday, 11:59 p.m. at night. All right. Just before Saturday morning, technically, the deal is off the table, man. So jump into this webinar. It's going to be dope. In fact, in this webinar, you may go back and talk about how Prodigy, the rapper, who we're going to get into today, had a certain perception, and that perception in his brain created a certain phenomenon for him. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So listen, man, you want to get inside of this thing. I'm going to ask the question that I always ask. Can we say we know ourselves? Can we say we are on the path of enlightenment to becoming better people, but yet we do not understand a very basic function of the human brain? That's the question. Get over here, man. Stop playing theimaginationguru.com. Like I said, flash sale available for the next 48 hours. All right. I'm up August the 20th. Mark your calendars. Kitty Karma, removing negative energy before it starts. Listen, when I get into Prodigy today, it's the equivalent of looking at his birth chart when he was a baby, soon as he was born. Okay. And I can show you where the anemia is at. That's what we're going to get into. All right. But the next 5 people that come over for this webinar, I'll read you for free in the webinar so we can educate the audience to show you what the negative block is and things to do to overcome the negative block. Okay. Now, I'll give you the webinar absolutely free if you jump on the solar lunar eclipse crackhead special that I'm giving, but you have to do this before August the 1st. Okay, so get this reading before August the 1st and you good. I can't stress enough how eclipse, if you have anything in these zones like I showed with Usher in the last video, something's going to happen, bro. Absolutely. I mean, I can guarantee it. All right. What it is and how to circumvent it becomes the next key. So get into this. All right. And I give you the webinar absolutely free, but you got to make it happen before August the 1st. All right. So let's go to our sponsors before we get started. Be right back.
Are you plagued by trauma, abandonment, or abuse? The Imagination Guru has helped thousands just like you overcome emotional memories that prevent you from happiness and success using the power of your mind. Overcome your trauma, overcome your abandonment, overcome your abuse by first making the decision right now to call the Imagination Guru at 1-877-345-3797 and live the life you deserve.
Peace, this is Shantae. I want to say how much I love 2L Love Fund. I've gotten my bills paid many times. I've helped other people get their bills paid. I love it. It always comes at the right time, and I would tell anybody and everybody to at least try it, because it works.
Okay, all right. Oh man, shout out to Kev, man. It got my bro Kev messed up. The prime minister's like, man, Kevin Hart. They said Kevin Hart cheating on his wife. Man, I said you out your mind. Even if you physically saw Kevin Hart cheating on his mind, then I will start to believe in aliens and conspiracy theories like that. All right, it ain't happening. But anyway, so R.I.P. Prodigy from Mobb Deep, man. Look at his album cover and what we see. This is his last body of work before his transition. And of course, you know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the zodiac wheel. Y'all may be looking at pyramids because you're stuck on that. I'm looking at the zodiac wheel, man. The wheel has everything in reality circumscribed inside of it. So then you have to find yourself on the wheel. I'm Aquarius, man. So always find yourself in the story. Where are you at? Why are you looking at it? What effect is it having on you? Now, some of this in quantum physics, in chemical reactions, we call it strong reaction and weak reaction. Some things that you come across just is not really meaningful like that. Then other things can hit you in the stomach, and you have to kind of figure out what your connection to it is because you're having a strong interaction with it. The news, the event, you feel me? Okay? And so everything ain't strong and everything ain't weak. So Aquarius in this diagram is right by the book. Ooh, I don't know where y'all at, but I'm by the book, man. And in this album, he said he's the 6-pointed star. So in fact, I want you to listen to a clip that comes from this album.
It's written in the stars. Look me up then. It's written in the stars. Look me up then. It's written in the stars. Look me up then.
So he said it's written in the stars. Look them up then. So that means if anybody wants to have a conversation about Prodigy, we should have it by knowing the stars. It should be a conversation about the stars. This is what this man said. See, this puts this is what I'm saying, which is unique about this channel. This puts the conversation in a whole nother stratosphere called the zodiac. Okay? So let's have a real spiritual celestial conversation, since he wanted you. That's the key. He wanted you to understand or look him up by the stars, since it was written. Again, Aquarius is by the book. I'm the one that's going to give you the book of stars. I'm going to disseminate the information. That's what a book does. It carries information. I'm going to give you the information about the stars. That's why I got stars in my shades, man. All right. So let's roll. Shout out to Wikipedia in the new age, man. We in the Aquarius age, like I always say. This is the age where information will be just rampant. Bam. You can't hide no more. Okay? So, medical astrology, traditionally known as ethereal mathematics. Mathematics, man. Facts, right? Is an ancient medical system that associates various parts of the body, diseases, and drugs as under the influence of the sun, moon, and planets, along with the 12 astrological signs. This is a science, and all ancients knew it. Don't be brainwashed by these crazy new age folks, all right? So let's look at a birth chart wheel on November the 2nd, 1974, the birthday of Prodigy. And I have an arrow at the top that's pointing at Mars, and it's pointing at the planet Uranus. Okay. Now, the reason I have an arrow pointing at those two, because those two are very close to each other when he was born. They're only 5 degrees apart. Okay. Facts. Now, at the bottom right-hand side, we have an arrow pointing to Saturn. Notice there are 2 red lines from Saturn going up to Mercury at 24 degrees Libra. And then Uranus is at 28 degrees Libra. Okay. Why is it a red line going there? Because that's called a square. These planets are approximately 90 degrees away from each other. Okay. And when that happens, this produces an energy that says there could be some challenges. A square is a challenge, an obstacle. There could be some type of challenge and obstacle to overcome when these energies are like this. Okay? Now, let's get into some planetary description. Let's look at Mars. Mars is an energy of accidents. It is an energy of blood. Your physical blood. Well, P was born with sickle cell, which is produced by red. And it's funny because Mars is the red planet. Sickle cell is a deficiency inside of red blood cells. Blood. Mars is blood. Okay. And P had this physical issue with blood. Accidents in his blood, in a sense. Okay. Uranus has an energy of accidents as well. So let's look at this one step at a time. One planet of accidents coupled with another planet of accidents, and that other planet of accidents is also carrying the energy of blood. We have double accidental energy inside of the bloodstream. Okay. Uranus also carries an energy of unexpected, another energy called freak. I'm going to be honest with you. Uranus is the planet of retardation. Okay? It's the planet of retardation. The position of Uranus when you're born, you got to be careful with this planet. Because if you're born where the sun is close to Uranus or direct opposition of Uranus, we can either get a genius or we can get something that is something is, and I'm not cracking jokes, but you can get retardation. Okay. The best example of Uranus, and I'm going to do a video on him, is Stephen Hawking. Here is a guy who is now in a wheelchair, who you can consider handicapped, but you know good and well his brain is on a whole nother level. His genius is on a whole nother level. That's what Uranus looks like. Okay. Now, let's look at Saturn. Saturn's energy represents deficiency. When you have sickle cell anemia, another word for anemia is deficiency. A lack of red blood cells. Okay. Chronic ailments is Saturn. And bones is Saturn. Red blood cells are produced primarily in the bone marrow. So when you have this planet of deficiency, chronic ailments in bone marrow at a square to the energies of Uranus, which is accidents, and Uranus is very close to the energy of blood, then you will have chronic ailments with the inside of the bloodstream. Very interesting to understand this. Now, when you look at the chart again, there is not a red line from Saturn going over to Mars. This is where you have to have an eye for the science and know what you're doing. Because Mercury, which is 24 degrees Libra at the top of the chart by the arrow, the one that says 24 with the little horns, that's Mercury. Uranus, we know, is at 28 degrees. So Saturn is having this little beef, this little issue with those two. So we don't have an issue primarily with Mars, but since Mars is connected and rolling with those two, then it's like, well, you can get it too. This is how it works. I call this the domino effect. By the law of mathematics, it is not necessarily touching that planet, but it's touching planets that is touching that planet. So therefore you will be affected by it. It's the domino effect. Okay. Simple. All right. So let's look at something. Because in the sky on the day that P made his transition, this is very important to understand what I'm telling you. Note that I have an arrow from Mars in green is in the same position where Saturn was when he was born. Let's look at it in the sky. Get you off the birth chart. On 11/2/74, you see Saturn appears in the sky next to the Gemini constellation. That's what it appears to be. But on June 20th, 2017, the day of his transition, where is Mars? Right there in the Gemini constellation, in the exact same position, getting in the same position where Saturn was. So is it a coincidence that he was born with the planet of ailments and bones, which produces the bone marrow, put in a square to the planet that represents the blood, and when he dies, the planet of blood is in the exact same position where the planet of bone marrow was and chronic ailments was? You see? Come on, man. So listen, Saturn is also known as the sickle. He carries this tool in his hand known as a sitch and also known as a sickle. Okay? And P has sickle cell. I'm not making this up. Like, see, this is the beauty of God. But here's the key. This is the kicker, man, for real. And we're going to get into this. And if you saw the free webinar that we did, you got it then. But if you didn't, get into this webinar that's coming up with Minister Jew at The Imagination Guru. He talked about how P had an experience where a dark shadow entity appeared in his room, and he got so scared that he put the cover over his head, and the next day he had one of his worst sickle cell attacks that he has ever had. Okay? We get into this webinar, Programming Your Inner Space. That dark entity was actually a projection from a certain organ in his brain that deals with fear. Because what was his response? He put the cover over his head. Ain't gangster now, are you? You don't know how to deal with that. How you gonna shoot a spirit? What appears to be a spirit. So what people don't understand is what appears to be an external phenomenon sometimes is not a random external thing solely existing by itself. Sometimes it's a projection of your own energy and your own thoughts. That's the science that you have to know. That's the science that we're showing you inside of our private membership at The Imagination Guru. You got to understand this. If you listen to P's album, you will hear him talking about the imagination. Okay? You got to understand this. Vitally, vitally important. All right? If you go over to the YouTube channel, The Imagination Guru, you will actually hear a healing testimonial of anemia. You can heal anemia. And we ain't talking about no herbs, no powders, no drinks, no shots. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about with the power of your mind, also known as placebo. Okay? When you think you got the real thing and then all of a sudden you're cured, but you didn't even take the real thing. You took a fake thing. What did it? Your mind did it. The anticipation in your mind created the phenomenon, created the healing. So we get into these techniques on how to unleash the power of your potential within your mind. I'll say this because Saturn also represents government. P's understanding of government and Illuminati and being so consumed with that shit can produce an internal, it produces an internal mirror. All right, the real Illuminati and the real blood sacrifice was inside of P's own blood. So although you may have thought you was watching some Illuminati blood sacrifice type of thing, The real deal takes place inside of your body. And that does not mean there isn't an external group out there. I'm not even dealing with that. I'm talking about you better be careful on how you perceive such people, because it's energy. It's nothing but mental images in your mind anyway. And these mental images make certain glands in your body secrete certain chemicals. And if you don't know that science, you can be in trouble. You can be in a world of trouble. The very thing that your mind is occupied on, physical Illuminati sacrifice, is the very same thing that's taking place in your own body. I'll come off the gas with that. Listen, you got a question? Hit us up. Get the self-activation workbook, myastrologycoach.com. Get it. It'll help you. You have a question, call us. Get over to theimaginationguru.com. You got a question, comment, hit us up. Leave it right there, man. Click the like button. Subscribe. Click the like button. Subscribe. Share with a friend. Click the like button. Subscribe. Share with a friend. Peace.
Prophecy is what we all have to go by now.